Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you about the BogPod Deathgrip, which is a tripod made for maybe some light competition and especially hunting. Before I get to that, I wanted to establish kind of copper equilibrium in this barrel, so I definitely dirtied the barrel, fouled it, and then shot a couple paper groups as well just to establish what kind of groups I should be able to expect from this rifle at this distance before moving to the tripod to analyze results there. And, I've honestly shot a lot of M80 ball out of this rifle just for fun because it's good plinking ammo, and I do have a good handle on how it should perform on this particular rifle. It's a 20-inch Savage Model 10 chambered in .308, and so I'm using a super cal bipod there, extremely steady, obviously, shooting from a bench. Then I went and weighted down the BogPod Deathgrip here, and I'm going to leave that bipod on there because I'm going to weight it down as much as I can. So that Savage Model 10 weighs around, I think it's around 15-16 pounds, and then the Deathgrip weighs between 7 and 8 pounds, somewhere in there. And the middle piece you see hanging there, that little mounting piece with the orange trim, now that does not come with the tripod. I added that so that I could weight it down or keep things high and dry in the winter when I'm shooting off of this. The rifle, unless you really crank on that tilt feature, it is going to kind of sit more like this. If you want to keep it perpendicular, you need to find the fulcrum of balance, which I'm going to in a second just to show you that. But you can see that it tilts up and down, and it pans really well, so most people are going to be fine. I'm 6'5", and I'm showing you right now that I have to hunch to get over and use this thing. It does not have enough elevation. I think it would have been really nice if they had included another 6 inches or so in that leg height somehow. But as it is, it's decent. So again, I'm going to go ahead and slide that forward towards the magazine well and make sure it's level using the bubble level on my rifle scope, because these legs do not have a built-in level feature necessarily, although you can custom change the height. And the head itself, it tilts up and down, but it does not tilt left or right. It is not able to articulate in that way, so you need to find a level surface or insert your rifle in a particular way to make it level. I'm using a chassis, and this is a really important point here, guys. If you were not using a chassis and you were trying to shoot from like a rubber overmold stock or maybe kind of a chintzy wood stock, you would not perhaps get the best results because you're going to change the harmonic signature of the rifle. You could have some strange narrowing of the barrel channel as it tightens in on that, especially with those rubbery kind of stocks, and I do anticipate that would change your point of impact significantly. For me, I did not have a terrible time with it. You'll notice that I put the two legs straight back, and then I have the one leg in the middle facing the target. That's so that I get a consistent recoil pattern. If you had one leg pointed back towards you, you might, be biased to the left or the right during your recoil pattern. So make sure that it's even as a triangle and that you're facing the wide portion with the one leg facing the target. So I found pretty good results using this MDT chassis. I'm a big chassis fan. So on the bottom there, that's what my bench results were like. About 1 MOA with M80 ball, 5-shot group at 100 yards, a little past 100 yards, very consistent. I'm real comfortable with that. M80 ball is not match ammo by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm fine with 1 inch for that type of ammo. It's just fine. The top there, that's about 2 MOA, and that's using the BogPod. And I repeated this test a few times, but I'm just going to show you this one picture so you get an idea of what I was going through. I did seem to have a bias where I would recoil a little bit more to the right. I wasn't gaining as much control. I don't have a muzzle brake on that rifle, and I would like to get one, but I think I need a little more practice with the BogPod. Another thing that you could pick out here is I had 2 shots that were, they should be, those are the 2 closest to the target, and then I had 3 rather, that are a little further away to the right. Those ones off to the right on that top target. That's just when it's getting away from me a little bit, a little tiny bit. So 2 MOA, still hunting effective. I'm really not that concerned about it. I think I need a little more practice. I think I need a muzzle brake on there as a device, but other than that, it's very effective. I really liked it. I think I can tighten that up a little bit, and most shooters, I think this is a good representation of what you could expect. If you're a 1 MOA shooter, or tighter, this right here is probably the minimum. I didn't select like my best groups or anything like that. I just tried to give average guy results here, and so that's what I found here. The only correction I made was an elevation correction just to get a little closer to the target. The windage itself I did not change. Then I went over and put my CZ 457 in there, and that's also in chassis. So again, I don't think I had too much change in harmonic balance other than the fact that I'm not resting on my supercal bipod. I'm right in the middle, and so you're going to have a little bit of a recoil difference there. But it's a heavy bipod, it's a heavy rifle, it's a little over 16 pounds. And I was doing 10-shot groups, so I did, let's see, 2 fouling groups of 10-shot groups with Remington Thunderbolt. Believe it or not, I was not using match ammo, and I was still getting okay results. Sometimes I shoot the bulk box stuff just for practice, and so I established kind of what those groups were going to look like and just made sure that I had an even amount of lead running through the barrel. And then I did a 10-shot group. You could see I threw one of them in there, and I knew I threw it. And I'm just shooting at 50 yards, but I'm going to show you what my results were like. And you'll notice how that balances real nice there with that evenly balanced rifle. It's a pretty heavy rifle, and that helps. So going down to 50 yards here, you're going to see 3 groups from today with that Thunderbolt. And on the far left, that's the first one, just establishing 10 shots, it's about an inch. The second one, a few more got away from me, 10 shots again. And the third is from the Bog Pod, and I did fine. It was 3/4 inch group except for the flyer. That one, brought it out to an inch. I think with a little practice I could tighten that up, and it was really quite reasonable. Not going to complain about those results at all, especially if I was considering it hunting. I would be getting the squirrel or the critter out to great distances. I felt very comfortable with that CZ. It's a little heavier rifle, very light recoiling, so I could see guys with air guns, PCP guns, 22s really liking it. So here's how fast the breakdown is. Again, that center bag with the orange trim does not come with a Bog Pod. That's just something I added, and I will recommend it. It's a good accessory to have. Here's how you could see breaking it down in the field. There's a little strap to keep all the legs together. That's useful. About 7 pounds, so it's kind of big and heavy. Heavy to have in a backpack, but probably worth it, especially if you're hunting. You can use the rubber legs if you're on a cement surface or something you don't want to damage. And then there's also the spike feet. If you turn those in all the way, that's a good feature, a good design. Those spike feet work really well, and most surfaces I prefer the spike feet. I think that it definitely gives the most chance at keeping everything steady and digging in. But either way, to each their own. I think it's a really good design. The legs do have 3 different degrees. You could actually shoot this prone, flat out. You could shoot it sitting in a chair as well, sitting on the dirt, and then standing all the way up. You'll notice that there is a level on the tripod because you need to level it yourself. It does not have the ability to level the head. It does have a pan feature, which I'm showing you, and it's not a lockout pan, it's just a tightening pan, so it makes it harder to turn. And you'll see I'll put a Sharpie in there. I don't think you have any rifles that narrow, but it'll go all the way down. And pretty wide here, probably fits most of your rifles. It fits my ACC chassis from MDT. And there's the tilt feature, which only goes up and down. Again, I'm going to throw my CZ in there, and from a sitting position, really comfortable. I'm really more considering this on the lines of a hunting tripod, guys. I don't really see this as a PRS competitor or NRL competitor if you're allowed to use tripods for that. I just don't think it has the articulation of the head, and I think the limitations of the legs itself and the degrees they have, it probably isn't going to quite compete really well with that. Plus you probably want an Arca Swiss mount for that, and you're looking at a considerable increase in price if you go to that Arca Swiss. From my experience, I really like this. I think it's a great deal, probably the best you're going to find for $150, especially for hunting and maybe just plinking a little bit. In the winter time, I can see a lot of benefit to using this thing. It'll keep me high and dry. I can have stuff in my bag there, and if I need to shoot over snow berms, which is a real thing, snow drifts, I actually have a little bit of height built into this now, and so I'm looking forward to using this the seasons to come, especially hunting season. Probably not going to be in any competition sense for me, especially considering those legs seem to slip out of position every once in a while on those little red selectors there. But I really like it, guys. It's a great product.